So I watched Musafir Cafe and I never expected I would cry at the end of the series. Not because it's the saddest love story ever written or because somebody dies or there is a shocking twist in the end, but I cried because I saw three people who genuinely love each other but love differently. And somewhere between Chander, Sudha, and Preeti, I realized that love is not about always choosing the right person. Sometimes it's about choosing who you're capable of becoming with. Today, I'll be comparing the original book with the Netflix adaptation and talking about why the characters made the choices they did, the individual character portrayal, and why this series left an impression in my heart long after the credits rolled. So, let's go. I'll be discussing the major themes and roles and scenes of the characters. And this can be a spoiler review if you haven't watched the series yet. So I would recommend do check it out on Netflix. And all the clips used are from the original source Netflix only for the purpose of commentary and review. I always think adaptations should answer one question. Did they understand the soul of the book and not did they copy every chapter? Because books and cinema are two completely different mediums. Books let us live inside people's thoughts, while series have to make us understand those emotions via expressions, silence, cinematography, and performances. From my perspective, Netflix didn't try to recreate every page. Instead, it tried to recreate the emotions. Some events are condensed, some interactions feel different. Certain emotional beats arrive earlier or later than they do in the novel, and actually, some characters receive more screen time than the others. That's expected. If every internal monologue from the novel were adapted faithfully, the series would probably be twice as long. The biggest difference I felt wasn't in the events themselves, it was how those emotions were presented. The book feels deeply personal because you're constantly inside the characters' minds, and the series depends more on what isn't spoken. The long pauses, the eye contact, the moment when you clearly feel that the person is trying to say something but chooses to be silent instead. Personally, I think both versions work for me because the book lets you understand while the series lets you feel. I honestly think Chandar is one of the greenest male leads in the Indian television romance. Not because he's perfect. Well, he's not. He hesitates, he doubts himself, sometimes he overthinks. But throughout the story, what stands out to me is his respect for people. He doesn't treat love like ownership. He listens, he waits, he gives people the space. That's surprisingly rare. Many romantic heroes are written as people who chase relentlessly until they win. Chanda doesn't feel like that. His love feels patient. His biggest conflict isn't choosing between two women, it's trying to understand what the right thing is without hurting anyone. And honestly, that's what made him feel more human. Sudha is probably the character most people would disagree on the most. Some people think she's confused, and other people think she's selfish. Well, I don't think either. I think she's scared, and there's a huge difference. She's carrying expectations, she's carrying responsibilities, memories, dreams, fear of making the wrong decision, fear of hurting someone she loves, and fear of losing herself, maybe. Sometimes, when people don't know what they want, we judge them. But I think Sudha knew exactly what she wanted. The only thing she did not know was whether she was allowed to choose it. I genuinely felt for Preeti because she is the easiest character to misunderstand. Because from the outside, she seems confident. But confidence doesn't mean someone isn't vulnerable. She loves openly, she hopes openly, she risks openly. And that's what makes rejections hurt even more. She's probably the bravest character in the story because she chooses honesty even when honesty might cost her everything. And that's courage. I don't think the story is asking you who's better. Rather, it's asking you who makes you become yourself. And that's completely a different question. People don't always choose the person who loves them the most. They often choose the person with whom they feel most understood. Sometimes they choose familiarity, sometimes they choose peace, sometimes they choose growth, sometimes they choose timing. And timing is the biggest character in this entire story. If circumstances had been different, would everyone have made the same choices? Honestly, I'm not sure. This is where the series completely won me over. I didn't finish it thinking, I wish this character had done something differently. Instead, I understood every single character. I understood Chander, I understood Preeti, I understood Sudha, and that's incredibly difficult for any writer to achieve. Normally, in love triangles, we end up choosing sides. Here, I couldn't because everyone was just trying to love in the only way they knew how, and that's what broke me. I've been thinking about this ever since I finished the series. Why did I cry? I don't think I cried because someone lost. I cried because everyone loved sincerely. Every decision, even the painful ones, come from love. Not hatred, not revenge, not manipulation. Love. Just expressed differently. Sometimes love means staying. Sometimes love means leaving. Sometimes love means waiting. And sometimes love means letting someone go. And that's what the story reminded me. Love isn't measured by who ends up with whom, it's measured by how someone deeply cared. So that's my honest opinion about the Musafir Cafe. I know many of you will not agree with me and my opinion on what I felt, but you're free to express whatever you feel. And I would love to know your thoughts on what you felt after watching the Musafir Cafe regarding each person and each character that deeply affected you. Stories like these are meant to be expressed differently by each viewer. I genuinely like to know your perspective, whom you understood the most, whose character you were inspired by the most, what point in the story felt most connected to you, and what did you learn or undertake from this whole series called The Musafir Cafe? And if you have read the book, I would also like to know which part of the book stayed with you the most. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you like my content. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.